All right, shalom, shalom, mighty Shabbat shalom. I'm going to start by giving infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harachak Wadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last seconds of time. Kwame Yashala, mighty shalom. And this lesson is entitled Control your lust/desires. Salvation is nigh. Control your lust/desires. Salvation is nigh. Lord willing, this message be edifying. And this is just backing up the elder brother GMS Fruit of Knowledge Bayath, who did a lesson earlier today, I believe, which was entitled Control Your Lust/Desires. Salvation draweth nigh. All right. And ultimately, that's dead on point. That's right on point, man. Especially in the times that we're in. All right. When any moment, all hell can break loose. All right. And the scriptures say, no man that warred entangle himself with the affairs of this life. This is 2 Timothy 2:4. No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. And ultimately, who had chosen us to be a soldier is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. And when you're in war, when you're in a battlefield, you got bombs going off around you. You got bullets flying over your head. Bodies dropping on the side of you, so to speak. And that's likened unto the men of the Lord that are out here on the highways and byways pushing this truth and sincerity. All right. This is spiritual warfare that we're up against. So in the midst of that battlefield, you got to control your lust/your desires, or those things ultimately could lead to you getting hurt, injured, or killed, man. Okay. And I have this Google search here, which says, I just typed in, is controlling your lust during a war essential? And it says, controlling lust during war is considered essential from a spiritual and personal discipline perspective, acting as a war within that can devastate a person's focus, character, and future, right? Because if you get off track, all right, in the seriousness of things, okay, that could lead to you being hurt, injured, killed, or someone else, all right, another soldier being hurt, injured, or killed, man. So you got to be mindful of those things. And it's easier said than done, speaking of myself first and foremost, okay? But the scriptures say, like the elder brother was going into, our salvation is nigh. So it's too late in the game to fumble, okay? It's too late in the game to let your lust or your desires take over and lead to you committing errors, all right, in the spiritual battle. This is Romans chapter 13, verse 11, and that knowing the time, right, knowing the time, the scriptures say measure the time diligently. So we see these things coming to pass, and we know that we're closer than we've ever been to Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, cracking those clouds, to America being destroyed, to the wicked, the candle of the wicked being put out. So we're so close. Why would you, all right, let all of that go by giving into a lust or a desire when we're about to get the kingdom? Scriptures say, seek ye the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto thee. And the Lord will give you a bone, or the Lord will help you out here and there, but you're not to be giving in to your desires, man. All right. Or like the scriptures say, that strange woman, because her end is bitter as wormwood, right? And that strange woman could go into other religions, philosophies, doctrines, okay? Lust, desires. Just imagine a soldier on a battlefield and he's got a mission to go on, all right? And it's a top secret mission, okay, which requires carefulness, being circumspect. And then he loses sight of that mission at the awe of a pretty woman from afar, okay? what would that end up? That soldier would be taken out. So that's likened onto us. We're so close, man. It's no room for error. All right. We know these things, like it says, knowing the time. So like your Romans 13:11, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe, right? Because scriptures say there's a time and a season for everything under the sun. All right. A time to kill, a time to heal. All right. A time to plant, a time to pluck up that which had been planted. Scriptures say Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning of it that follow, and we're at the end of the world, and we're about to transition into the beginning of it that follow it. So we know what we have in front of us is the kingdom of heaven, all right, righteousness, order, all right, that government under Yahushua, all right. So why would you want to give all that up for a moment of pleasure or desire? And it's easier said than done, like I said earlier, speaking for myself first and foremost, all right. We're so close that we have to spiritually tighten up, man. All right. And make sure we endure unto the end. The scriptures say he that endured unto the end, the same shall be saved. This is Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved, right? Not tomorrow, not next week, until the end, all the way into the end, man. So you got to hold tight, hold fast to which that thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Let me get that real quick. This is Revelation 3:11. Yahushua speaking, red letters. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, which is this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, this truth, that no man take thy crown, right? So you have to hold that fast to what you have. You have to gird your loins like a man, because the Lord's going to require this of us, all right? That we don't get entangled with the affairs of this world, man. Bear with me. This is 1 Corinthians 9:25. It says, I start at verse 24. It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. The scripture say, make these things plain upon table, that he may read that run it. So we've got these prophecies, the name of the Lord, this wisdom, knowledge, understanding the Lord has bestowed upon us. So we run out to the highways and byways, all right, and teach these things and be an example for the believers, all right. But like Apostle Paul said, lest I myself be a castaway. So we have to be an example for those of how to control your lust, how to control your desires, all right, how to be temperate, okay, how to have self-control, because that's what temperate goes into. So it says, verse 25, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. And I want to get that word temperate because it goes into self-control. And that's the main thing you have to have in this ministry, self-control. Knowing when to go forward, knowing when to hold back, all right? A balance, okay? Scripture say a false balance is abomination to the Lord. So you don't want to be led or driven by your lust or your desires, man, or the flesh. 1 Corinthians 9:24 in the NLT, it says, don't you realize that in a race everyone runs, but only one person gets the prize? So run to win. Verse 25, all athletes are disciplined in their training. They do it to win a prize that will fade away, but we do it for an eternal prize. You see, and this article here goes into discipline. It says, controlling lust during war is considered essential from a spiritual and personal discipline perspective, acting as a war within that can devastate a person's focus, character, and future. It is viewed as a spiritual battle used to weaken individuals, requiring proactive measures to protect one's mind and heart, as uncontrolled impulses can lead to destruction. Right, those desires, those lusts, if uncontrolled, they lead to destruction. It says key reasons for controlling lust during intense high-stake times like war include maintaining personal integrity. The battle against lust is seen as a way to maintain holiness and prevent the slaying of God-our power in one's own heart, focusing on a pursuit of holiness, right? Godliness, man, being separate and apart from the world. So it says, let's get that word temperate. Agratomai. It says to be self-controlled, continent, to exhibit self-government, conduct oneself temporarily. It says in a figure drawn from athletes who, in preparing themselves for the games, abstain from unwholesome food, wine, and sexual indulgence. Right, these other philosophies, these other doctrines, these other dogmas. We've abstained from those things in order to be sober-minded. The scriptures say be sober and watch. It says to exercise self-restraint. And that's what the elder brother was going into, controlling your desires / your lust, man. Okay? That's something that we got to practice, okay? Constantly controlling those things, man. All right? So they don't get the best of us and destroy us and lead to destruction. So let's go back. 1 Corinthians 9:25 in the NLT, it says all athletes are disciplined in their training. They do it to win a prize that will fade away. But we do it for an eternal prize, right? The kingdom of heaven, man. That's what we do it for. All right? That's what we control our lust for and our desires. It says, so I run with purpose in every step. I am not just shadow boxing. I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified. That's right, man. So we ultimately know that we're training for the kingdom of heaven, ultimately to be worthy, man. All right. That the Lord ultimately deal with us, keep us in these times, man. Okay. It says, verse 26, I'll read in the KJV. It says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I preach to others, I myself should be a castaway. So we got to be an example to others. That's what the elder brother was going into, man. Controlling your own desires and lust, because we're at the end, man. Okay? Lord willing, this quick here was edifying. I'm going to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harachak Wadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and blessings until next time. Kwam Yashala, mighty Shalom.